Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for the support on the previous videos, but for today's project, let's clean up our workspace while I tell you what we're going to do. I'm inspired by cherries. We've seen a lot of figurines via Potmart and other artists where they make a double duo of figurines that are joined by cherry stems. And I thought this was such a cute little idea, and I was inspired to do like a little lovebird style idea. So I'm going to make my aluminium base. We're going to take one to start off with, and basically we're going to wrap it in clay so it forms a little clay potato. Now the clay doesn't have to be too thick here, just enough to cover it, and you don't have to be too careful. Just make sure every part of the aluminum foil is covered. And then we're going to go ahead and smooth all of the seams in before we go in with the actual tools to make sure it's all very, very smooth. But after I take my tools and I go in, we have a potato. And because I want this bird to be on its back and I know exactly where its head's going to be now, I take extra pieces of clay that I have and I wrap it around where I kind of want the head and the neck to begin. And because we know the pose of our lovebird now, we can go ahead and add in the tail. So we're going to cut off a little piece of this oblong, attach it to the very bottom of the tail, and we're going to blend this in. After the tail has been attached and we have a nice little definition on our body and head, we're going to go ahead and add the wings. So we're going to cut off a little end of the oblong. We could have left it on if I wanted to. I just find it easier to blend in with cutting it off. We're going to cut those in half so that way we have two similar shaped size wings. And we're going to go ahead and add these in. Now this wing looks thick. It looks thick, but after we blend it all in and after we drag the clay around, it loses a lot of that like thickness and weight to it, and then any other like rounded parts to it, it just kind of gives it more of a cartoony rounded shape, which is kind of the vibe I wanted to go to. So I'm going to take my little tool and add in some indentations, some whispers, some hints of feathers, and then we're going to get my little tool and we're going to widen those in just to make sure that they're a little bit deeper and that they can stand out after I paint the piece. We're going to take this little circle then, cut it in half, and this is going to form the little tufts for the little legs. And this is where I got so excited for my bees. I got so excited here because it looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks so silly and cartoony once I add in the little legs. It's just adorable. To add in the actual bird legs, I'm going to take the little oblong. We're going to do some indentations on either side to give us 4 little toes or talons. And then we're going to take a little crafter's knife and we're going to cut down the center to give us 4 individual talons to work with. We're going to take a little bit of time. It's a little bit hard because they're so tiny and delicate, but you're going to do your best to just roll them out just a little bit. And that way we have like individual talons that we can then take our tool and go in and add in the little bird ridges you see on talons. Is it wrinkles? Is it ridges? I don't know what they're called, but once you add these in, it looks like a little bird's claw or like hand or whatever you call a bird's leg, I guess. See the difference that made? Like the difference is incredible. Like it looks like a little cute little piece. So I went ahead, made 2 of those, and then we're going to go ahead and add in our little eyes. Now, fair warning, the face does not stay like this. I do keep the same concept, but I have to change where the face is looking. Because when I make the second bird, I wanted them kind of looking in the same direction, and it just didn't work out with the face shaking this way, but the process is the same, so I wanted to leave in the process. Basically, I take a sphere of clay, I cut that in half, I go ahead and bake those two halves. I let them cool, and then I bring them back to my piece, and then I put a little wormy dealy around the center of those half circles and blend them in. And on to our second potato. So our second potato is going to sit pretty flush with the first one, but I wanted to craft it separately so that I could give attention to all the detail, and also that I would be able to maneuver and manipulate the piece before I go ahead and attach them at the end. So same process before, just make sure it's all covered in clay. Go ahead and add in the eyes and the beak, and then we're going to add in the tail. And this one's tail is going to be behind its body because this bird is sitting in the stereotypical bird pose. And so we're going to go ahead and add it to the back. And I noticed after doing this that the contrast between the back and the drop and then the tail was a lot. So I added in, just where it attaches, some more pieces of clay, and then I rolled them out with the back end of my tool. And it gave off the effect that I really love, which is like, it looks like an actual original piece of the original sculpture. There's a couple of things to our second potato that's going to be needed before we are done, and one of those is wings. And because we have one wing that's going to be stuck in against the other body, we don't have to go full detail for this. So I just take kind of the whisper hint of a wing and put that in, blend it in, and make sure it fits, but also is kind of visible. Add in the second wing in the same process that we did the first one. And then we're just going to add in the little legs for this little guy. And because he's sitting, the little legs are going to sit in under him. And of course, we're going to add in the little tufts to his feathers as well. And I think they just look really adorable together. They look absolutely cute. Like, I am shocked that this piece came out the way it did, because I don't normally have the patience to do this. So once the legs are attached, this is how they are looking, and we're going to go ahead and add in the cherry aspects of our piece. And we're going to take some armature wire, poke it through the heads of both of them, because this is basically what those pieces look like. They're attached by a cherry stem. And we're going to cover that in clay. But first, I want to make it look like the cherries have like leaves on the top of them in kind of like strawberry fashion, I guess. Just because the cherries going in looked very stark. And I thought the green on the top would look kind of cool, or would just break up the art design that I was going for. So go ahead and blend those in, and then we're going to put some clay all around the wire. Now this armature wire, it's actually pretty good to use because it's sturdy, which means as polymer clay bakes, it gets softer in the oven, and when it gets softer, it can lose its like structure, and so using armature wire can also really help keep the piece in shape. Once it's all done, I shift the piece over to a baking tray, and we're going to bathe this entire thing in isopropyl alcohol. This melts away the top layer of clay, gets rid of all fingerprints, and smooths out the clay. It just takes a while to do it. Then we're going to spray paint it all in white. Now, here's the thing. Okay. I originally had an idea for this piece, and the idea was I was going to paint it in stereotypical lovebird passion, right? It was going to have red on the face, yellow on the chest, orange, and then green and all the colors. It just did not look good at all. I'm sure there was a way I could have made it work. But the combinations of colors I used, this like weird magenta-y red, which is beautiful, but just not for this piece, did not mix with the yellow, which did not mix with the green, and it did not work out. So after I had put enough time into this piece where I was like, this is a sunk cost fallacy, that there's no way I'm coming out of this with a nice piece, I decided to just absolutely start from scratch. So I took the piece, I brought it into my garage after everything had been dried, and then I just went in and spray painted the entire thing. these are no longer going to be lovebird color. They are going to be little mango lovebirds, which I think works very well. And also it fits my kind of sense of style a little bit more. So once the brushing had kind of dried, which actually the ombre that these spray paints gave me is phenomenal. And I just know I would not have been able to achieve this with normal paints. Maybe someday I'll invest in an airbrush if I have the patience to end up cleaning it, but for right now, I'm okay with just buying the individual spray paints. They're not the best, but evidence here is that they work. I'm going to add in the little black for the eyes, and I'm going to add in some little details here and there that make it look like they are lovebirds. So they also, like, I don't know if y'all know this because I have a lovebird myself. His name is Fuji. He's a little, like, menace. But he has this little, like, black tip on his beak. And I thought it'd be kind of cute to give the lovebirds that little black tip. Then I'm going to go in with kind of a pale, creamy, kind of pale flesh color for the beak itself. And then I'm going to go in and add white around the eyes, around the beak, just making sure that I'm getting all these little details. I'm taking my time with this piece using a very small brush so that my patience and effort isn't wasted, right? Then I went in with a little bit of I added gray to the same color I used for the beak, just to give that kind of talon color a little bit more of that stone look that you see on bird's feet all the times. Because bird's feet are a little bit more gray, dull, stone-like. So I went ahead and just added those in. And even with these little additions, the mango lovebirds start looking really, really good. Here is where I add in the little white. I want to do the white around the eyes because lovebirds have little whites around their eyes. And I just think it really makes the eyes pop a little bit more. Gives them like a little bit of a parrot vibe too, I kind of feel like. And there we have our little birds, but we're not done yet. So I thought they were missing something. And after sitting there for a while, I was like, you know what? Why don't we just make these kind of cute and fantasy themed? So I went in and added all these like little white highlights, sparkles all over their body. And because of how the ombre with the 3 mango colors works, it actually ended up having this beautiful kind of shiny, sparkly effect as if they're an item from a video game or something. And I just think the effect that this has is so pretty. Now I do go over this with resin and gloss at the end, and then I add in some rhinestones just where I put the kind of like diamond shapes in. But I honestly feel like if I had not even done the resin, this piece would still look phenomenal. Then we're just going to do some eye shines in the eyes. I don't even know if they needed this. I do think it gives them that like that they share one brain cell kind of a vibe, which is really silly. And then I just went in with a lighter green for the stems and the leaves. As much as I love the red going up into the green ombre on the stem from the airbrush or the air spray that I used, it didn't really work with the leaves. So I kind of had to work with what I had sculpted, unfortunately. And the green, I think, really looks nice against the deep, vibrant red of the head. And time for the final reveal! Here is how they turned out in the end. After I did a couple of coats of resin, I really love this piece. It's very bright, it's cartoony, it's fun. It's not perfect, which is the joy of handmade things, right? And also this is the process where I'm learning, right? I'm learning, you're learning, and we're in this little journey and adventure together. And I just think they look so fun and cute, and they're a perfect little addition to my office. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did, and have a wonderful day.